Everybody, I'm Bobby Burton, joined by Jerry Hamilton. This is On Texas Football. We're watching a little Texas ladies basketball tonight. Texas up 27-23 with about 7 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the third quarter. Tight one with TCU. It's for a chance to go to the Final Four. Longhorns were up by 2 at the half. Tonight's Talkin' Ball episode brought to you by our friend Brett Robin, Dr. Brett Robin at Austin Orthopedic Institute. We'll tell you a little bit more about Brett and what he's up to these days, the former Texas football player, now an orthopedic doctor in Austin and around Central Texas. Hey, Jerry, some Longhorn news today. There was an abundance of it coming. Let's start with some of the injuries in football, one of them being Ryan Wingo, young man, wide receiver out of St. Louis. He injured a hamstring. It is not considered a severe hamstring injury, but I'm being told that they are going to allow him at this point to sit out the rest or majority of spring ball. He may do some light work on the side, etc., but setting out most of it. So that puts Texas in a weird situation right now with only one guy that is even a returning sophomore. Two, I guess, if you count Aaron Butler at that position. But look, I mean, it's going to be interesting where Texas goes now at receiver. We will say, according to CJ Vogel, we can say that the Longhorns, Kyla Olager just missed a gimme at the rim. We can't say that today's practice, according to CJ Vogel, that Parker Livingstone, Jamie French, and Dalen McCutcheon were the starting wide receivers for the Longhorns. So it'll be interesting to see.
They really don't have enough to two-spot practices now.
No,
receivers. That's where it's at with Wingo and Moore out now, because obviously some of the freshmen are still learning the offense. Heck, Aaron Butler is still learning the offense, from what I was told. So they'll have a tough time two-spotting the rest of the way in spring practice. And who does that affect? That affects KJ Lacey and Trey Owens and their reps. So something to watch there for the rest of spring. Well, not something to watch, something to follow for the rest of spring, because nobody gets to watch any of spring.
Also in team news, this is not football, but baseball related. Max Ballou, a National Player of the Year candidate, is out for a considerable amount of time. He may not be back, Jerry, all season. Possibly could come back, they're saying, around the time of the playoffs or NCAA tournament time. It's going to be difficult for him to figure that out. So we'll see exactly what happens there. There were also some recruits on campus. Jerry, one from North Carolina, one from Mady Creek, a linebacker that we've been talking about a bunch, and then also a 2027 offensive lineman out of Kingwood. Tell people who you want to talk about today, and we'll get going with some recruiting news too.
Yeah, as we watch this game, which watching the first half of this game was like being convicted of a crime you didn't commit in a weird way, man. It was that rough to watch. It was that bad of an experience. I mean, bad basketball all around, but Vic and these guys, Vic and the ladies are holding on right now. But from a recruiting standpoint, oh my gosh, that ball still hung on the rim for like 5 seconds. From a recruiting standpoint, Kosi Okpala from Mady Creek was on campus today. He's considered a Texas lean. He's got official big Texas lean. In fact, he's got official visits to Penn State, Baylor, and Texas coming up in June, and we'll see. If Okpala comes back on campus again in late April, maybe for the 26th. There's a number of recruits that are expected to be on campus on the 26th as well of April, kind of the fan appreciation day. Then Kennedy Brown, the 2027 offensive tackle from Kingwood, with a enormous wingspan, one of the top 2027 offensive tackles in the country, a guy that Texas offered January 25th, and they'll be on him. They'll recruit him as hard as anybody in this 27 cycle. Both those guys were on campus today. Damod Lewis, the edge/5 tech out of North Carolina, whose brother plays for the Charlotte in the NFL Panthers, was on campus today. Carolina Panthers was on campus today. He's originally out of the Washington State area when his brother was playing for Seattle, then signed with Carolina, so they moved there this year. But a guy that was on campus today. And they're going to have some guys trickle in throughout these spring practices we talked about. Felix Ojo will be on campus this weekend. A couple others, Jet Washington, probably the young corner that reclassed from 27 to 26 out in California as well, around the OT7 7-on-7 tournament. There'll be some guys stop through there. So recruiting kind of moving right along right now. So expect to see 2-3 guys, kind of word get out that these guys were on campus throughout the week, especially over the weekend, without it being the big recruiting weekend.
It's interesting. Game now tied in Birmingham between the Longhorns and TCU. They are getting a little whistle happy. The refs are. That does not play into an aggressive defense like Texas's favor, in my opinion. We'll see where that what that means. But I mean, they continue to have some trouble scoring the basketball. Both teams do really. TCU's made a killing at the line compared to Texas. At this point. Hey, Jerry, what about basketball recruiting? It's time to ask you about that because I know they had Dylan Swain on campus, right? Carson Smith says anything on Texas basketball portal targets, the 2 young men out of Xavier that were coached last year by Sean Miller.
Yeah, Dylan Swain is on campus for his official visit today and tomorrow. He leaves midday tomorrow. Ryan Conwell will get in about that time. For Dalen Swain, it's expected to be Texas or Ohio State. I'm not saying there hasn't been contact with other schools. With Ryan Conwell, it's expected to be Texas or Indiana. There's some chatter to Indiana's just saying that they'll come over the top of anything with NIL with Texas on Ryan Conwell. So we'll see what happens. There are so many guys going in that we have a great thread on ontexasfootball.com about it. There are so many guys going in the portal right now that college basketball staffs can't keep up with it.
Yeah,
like there's been so many guys go in that were in the tournament or teams just in last couple of days. I mean, you're going to see a lot of, hey, Texas contacted this guy. They had a Zoom call with this guy. Look, they've probably done that with 40-plus guys to this point because it's a vetting process. You got to see. You got to deem, okay, is this somebody that could be a fit? Is this somebody, okay, we like the tape, but what does he look like? Maybe we played against this guy. Maybe we knew him a little bit lightly in recruiting, but didn't offer him. But then you get to the agent, all right, what's the NIL situation? Does any of it fit? So these schools are talking to a lot of people, and we'll see how many guys Texas actually brings on official visits. The dead period begins Friday at 11:59 p.m. So if you don't get somebody in by Thursday for official visits, it's going to be the following week after the dead period's lifted due to the Final Four. But Texas is contacting a lot of guys. I was told that Saturday night they were in the office till midnight 30, just on the phone, whether that's with agents or kids in the portal. So things are moving along. It will be I think a slower burn to build out the roster than for people looking for the quick, just kind of, 4 or 5 guys, boom, 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 they're all done. This market's way too competitive for that. And look, Texas is also looking at international kids right now.
Hey, Jerry, quickly, what about the existing players on the roster? Tremont Mark, Kendall Weaver, Jordan Pope, Nick Cody, those guys. What's the latest there?
Yeah, I think a lot of those guys want to return. Again, then it gets down to, the NIL portion of it and what's going to happen there and making all the pieces fit. So I think there's a lot that Texas is going through there right now. I mean, look, I think Nick Cody, Vincent, Kendall Weaver, those guys would love to return. Jordan Pope, we'll see. Tremont Mark could always test the NBA draft waters and go through the process, then make a decision late. So, see, that's where it gets interesting too, is are you going to really wait on something like that if that's what Tremont Mark decides to do, which I think is a possibility for him, because then you're kind of rolling the dice, because that's a guy that would play 30 minutes for you. And there's a lot of really good players in the portal. The other thing with the portal is then you have to weigh one-year players versus 2-year players in the portal, because you're really building for year 2. You want to make the tournament in year 1. You want to be good, but you're really building for years 2 and years 3. I mean, if you look, I'm just going to keep saying it, but Nate Oates did not make the tournament his first year. Todd Golden did not make the tournament his first year. Bruce Pearl, who was a little farther back, did not make the tournament. Rick Barnes did not make the tournament. These are builds. It's still a build. You can make the tournament if things kind of fall your way in the portal, but you're really setting up for years 2 and 3. So that's kind of the other thing they're weighing.
All right.
Yeah.
I want to say hello in just a second and bring him on. Jeff Howe is here with us to spend some time with us this evening. But first, I want to say thank you special thanks to Dr. Brett Robin of Austin Orthopedic Institute for sponsoring On Texas Football in this episode of Talkin' Ball. Dr. Robin, a former Longhorn running back, knows what it takes to stay in the game, and he's here for athletes of all ages. Specializing in musculoskeletal health, Dr. Robin treats joint pain and injuries with a conservative approach first, and then also offers advanced surgical options, including arthroscopic procedures, fracture management, and total joint replacements. With convenient offices in Austin, Georgetown, and Killeen, Dr. Robin is accepting new patients now. Give him a call if you're looking for a top-notch orthopedic specialist. Give Dr. Robin a call, 512-856-1000, and get back to your active lifestyle and doing what you love. Let's bring in Jeff Howe now, guys, joining the show. Jeff, welcome in, buddy.
Hey, Jeff, you want a little trivia to start your night?
Oh, I'm always down for
Why not trivia? There are 22 turnovers and 22 made field goals in this Elite Eight game right now. Combined, 22 made field goals and 22 turnovers.
I don't have my stat broadcast in front of me, but yeah, it's had that feel. This is dude, this ain't even a rock fight. This is a fist fight that these two teams showed up for, and a basketball game just so happened to break out. So
Rick Barnes thinks these guys need to pick it up a little bit offensively.
I mean, yeah, this is I don't even know what this is. This is more like I don't know what the heck you would call it. This is more like Ben Howland style of basketball.
Exactly.
Like first to 40 wins.
Yes.
Boy, they are getting chippy with the fouls here in this game. I don't like that for Texas because Texas plays so aggressive.
Yeah, Bobby, they have 15 foul calls to TCU's 5. Now,
yeah.
But now you don't foul Texas a lot because you play off everybody and just let them shoot, right? And that's the difference. You play under every screen, so you don't really foul Texas unless Texas can get the ball into the post, which is – but, yeah, this game is it's just not right. Hey, we need to talk about David Bailey a little bit, Jerry. I'm getting some questions about the Stanford transfer and Jeff. This young man that, because of the coaching change at Stanford over the last week, probably the top player for the Stanford Cardinal, has entered the portal and is expected to visit Texas tomorrow. He's visiting Texas Tech today and is expected to go to Texas tomorrow. What are your thoughts, Jerry and Jeff, on Texas even going after a 6'3", 250-pound sack guy when their edge room may be the best in the country as it is right now? 6'3", 250, though. Bailey had 7 sacks for the Cardinal a year ago. Yeah, well, one, he's a stud, right? And this only is an option because Andrew Luck fired the coach, right? So it's just a turmoil there. Texas scores a bucket. But, look, he is an elite edge player in college football. 7 sacks, 5 forced fumbles last year, 14 and a half sacks, really good inbounds play there, Vic. A really good, pass rusher, and also creates turnovers. It'll be interesting to see. Obviously, if you interviewed him after the Lubbock visit versus Austin visit, all you have to do is take him to hula hut like Dalen Swain today, and he'd probably say the visit's a lot better in Austin. But that we live in the NIL world. But what's interesting about that, Bobby, is everybody. I think on message boards, people are like, well, it's because Trey Moore moved the linebacker. I think it's because you just don't know if Colton Vossick's going to be healthy. Yeah, and you got to guard guard yourself in that scenario. I mean, Colton Vossick is really talented, but he's never been healthy, and it's hard to count on a guy to be like your number 3 or 4 guy in your rotation at edge if he's never been healthy. And the other thing is, Bailey may be better than everybody but Colin Simmons, if we're being real. I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. And
even if Ethan Burke's a 3rd or 4th round pick, 2nd, 3rd, 4th round pick, Bailey may be a higher rated kid. What do you think, Jeff? What do you think about this move for Texas bringing in someone like this?
If you look at Pro Football Focus, there were only 5 edge guys that graded out higher for the whole season than David Bailey did. 3 of them, Princely Umar-Mielen, Josiah at Ole Miss, Josiah Stewart at Michigan, and Abdul Carter at Penn State. So to Jerry's point, yes, this is a stud. We've seen Sark do this before at certain positions, and I think I think you're doubling down on a strength. It's like not only is our pass rush going to be our strength, not only is our edge room going to be our strength, we might as well go try to have the best edge room in the country without question.
Yeah.
And I think, look, in a hypothetical world, if you had David Bailey and, you've still got Trey Moore with Ethan Burke and Colin Simmons, the addition of Brad Spence with Anthony Hill, I've already talked about limitless options on your third down packages and your sub packages. You've got limitless options. You can do, there's so many different things you can do with that group. You would have multiple different NASCAR type packages. So yeah, I just think it's doubling down on a strength to make sure, hey, we don't want, knock on wood, we don't want, Colin Simmons missing a game or two to cause our whole defense to crater, or Trey Moore missing a game or two to cause our game plan to go haywire. Just you're going to do everything you possibly can to make sure that no matter what, for the entire length of the season, that edge is a strength.
I want to say this because this morning on Coffee and Football, somebody brought up Will Anderson and the unbelievable season he had. Could Colin Simmons have that type of season? And so I started looking. I'll tell you what, why you want David Bailey, no matter how much talent you have on your team. That Alabama team, and they didn't win it, but they threw Will Anderson and Dallas Turner out together. If you can throw David Bailey and Colin Simmons out together, quarterbacks are going to be really rushing to get the ball out of their hand. And you do not turn down a difference maker player ever, period. You can't do it.
That's the thing, Jerry. That's it. I mean, to me, I've thought one of these portal spots, we know receiver and tight end, like we talked about the spots that you hypothetically would go after in the spring portal window. I always say, hey, earmark one for best player available. Just a guy that, man, doesn't matter what you've got at the position. This guy's just too good to turn down. An NFL caliber guy. So yeah, I'm down for
it. 36-33.
Huge 3 by Texas.
Yeah, Jordan Lee. I mean, look.
1 of 10 day is having a very, very impactful game right now.
This is her type of game too. Jordan Lee made some big shots in the Sweet 16 game, and they need a couple more. They need to think about this quarter right now. They need to get a stop and get a score, because what you don't want to get into with a game like this, because TCU is 3 of 16 from 3. They just go wild and hit like 3 out of 4 threes at the end of the game, and you look up and you end up down 2 with 20 seconds to go. You want to, if you can get up, there's another turnover, 18. If you can get up 8 points here at the end of the quarter with the pace, you feel pretty good about where you're at in this game. But, like 3, 4, 5 point lead, then, they hit 3 threes and 4 trips, and suddenly you look up and you're down with no time left. So that's the big end of the quarter here for Texas.
Leading to that turnover, that was a really nice switch between Taylor Jones and Rory Harmon on that ball screen.
Something's wrong with Rory Harmon. She seems like she got something in her eye or something. We'll see how this goes. Brianna Preston in at point guard for 28 seconds or 25 seconds left in the half. Texas up, in the third quarter. Texas up 39-33. It's a scrum right now in Birmingham between these two teams. We're going to take y'all's questions and comments this evening. Feel free to go out there. We'll probably go to the end of this ball game at the very least. Set play for Madison Booker. Now she makes it and is going to the line for a possible 3-point play. Texas now up 41-33. But we'll take y'all's questions and probably go to the end of this game, see if Texas makes it to the Final Four. Hey, Joe Z said CDC gifted me and my family tickets for the San Jose State home opener. So we were driving the 18 hours for it. Is he in Portland? Is that where Joe Z's from?
I didn't know they did a ticket draw for Oregon fans. That's wild, man.
That's crazy.
Joe Z, man. That's crazy.
Congratulations. Happy for you. And I'm really happy that that's the way it's going right now. That Chris Del Conte reaches out to people and does that. That's the kind of thing you want to hear about, right, guys? Is just being good. Longhorns go to the fourth quarter now. I think that's a 9-point lead.
9-point lead.
42
Great
to
ending.
33.
6-0 run in the quarter. 6-0 run in the quarter. Three from the right wing for Jordan Lee. 3-point play, Matty Booker off the mid-range jumper. So that's huge. That is huge because now TCU has to – they're 3 of 17 from three. They got to make about 4 or 5 threes this quarter to have a chance in this game.
I got news for you, Jerry. Our friend Tony Hills is texting me right now. He comes on with our show on Wednesdays, Hump Day with Hills for the former Longhorn offensive lineman. He's asking me, send me tape of Nicholas Robertson. I gotta look up Tony's huddle for a second. I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna put this question up. It's a super chat from KD35. Jerry, what's up with Tyler Atkinson, the linebacker out of Georgia and Texas?
Texas, continues to stay in contact with Tyler Atkinson. I'm waiting to see if there's going to be official. A lot of people just think it'll come down to Georgia and Clemson. Their family's originally from North Carolina, but Texas is going to hang in there with Tyler Atkinson. I'll put in a call tomorrow to see if there's anything really new. I'd be surprised if he doesn't get on campus this spring unless something has drastically changed in the last week and a half.
This one from Kenneth Cassidy. Now that Ryan Wego had this hamstring scare, or is that sidelined with at least for
question?
I'm guessing we will go after 2 wide receivers in the portal. DeAndre Moore's on the sideline. Ryan Wingo's on the sideline. Not a single wide receiver in fall or in spring camp right now has caught a pass as a Longhorn.
Well, you're about to figure out what you got. So I think that question will be answered by the end of spring ball. I mean, if you feel like, some combination, I think you need some combination of, because we know they're going to go to the portal to get one, right? Ideally, of that group with Khalil Lockett, Jamie French, Parker Livingstone, Aaron Butler, you'd like 2 of those guys to feel like, yes, these 2 are no doubt rotational guys. Bobby, we talked about this, I think, on Friday. I still would like one of your receiver takes if you take 2 or you just take 1. I'd like that guy to have punt return experience, if at all possible.
I like that, Jeff.
Yeah, you mentioned that, and I think he's right.
I agree.
Because, look, we saw who they put back there at punt return on Tuesday when we were at practice. Not one of them looked like a natural punt returner. And that tells me that in that absence, I bet it's someone that's not working out in spring ball right now. Whether that's DeAndre Moore, Jonah Williams, either one of those 2, they may be your top 2 guys.
Yeah.
And so, but to Jeff's point, to Kenneth's question is, do they go after 2 now? You think they need to go after 2 when they've had 2 that have a little injury history now? I don't know.
Well, I would say this. I doubt you find 2 dudes, right? But you could find a dude and a role player, right, Jeff? Maybe somebody is a return man, could maybe be your 5th in the Rod circle of trust. I don't think you're going to go dude, 2 of them in the portal at wide receiver. But to fill a role, not out of the question. I think it's a good thought.
Jerry, you remember Sark's second year when they took Isaiah Nayer, and I wish we would have seen him healthy. What could have been, but you remember they took Tariq Milton basically as like a Jordan Whittington insurance policy. Like, hey, if Jay Witt gets hurt, Tariq Milton's played a lot of college football. Thankfully, they never had to cash that insurance policy. Right. But I'm with you. But that's kind of the second guy I'm thinking of. It's if he's cool, just coming to Texas to maybe get a few NIL dollars and work on a master's degree, then cool.
I don't think it's a bad thought at all.
Not horrible. Not horrible. We're getting some Colton Vasek questions here. Should Vasek take a medical redshirt? Isn't it too early to say that? That's from Eric De Los Rios. I think it's too early to say that at this point.
No, you're right, Bobby. So he redshirted in 23. To get a medical, you have to prove that you had an injury that kept you out for 2 years. And I don't think at this point they'd be able to do that. And I think too, Jerry, the idea has been kicked around of, hey, forget, redshirting or whatever, forget your medicals. Everybody just gets 5 years. You get 5 when you get to college.
Yeah.
If you want to use all 5, great. You want to be 3 and done to the NFL, that's fine too. That's going to make, I'm not going to say it's going to be impossible to get a medical at that point, but it's going to be infinitely harder than it's been in the past to get a medical if they get that 5 years to play 5 past.
Yeah, I think that's a big bucket right there. Wow, shot clock,
huge.
Almost a turnover. Shot clock was running out. I had to get it up. Look, I think we need to go to 5, like you said, and I think it's going to go to 5, period. And if you have rough injury luck, that's life. But there starts to have to be some limits on this. And I think we're going to go to 5, and I think that's going to be absolutely the right thing to do. I mean, some guys have rough injury luck. I get it. But I think we need to go to 5, and that's it. I mean, you have 5 years, and your clock starts, and when it runs out, it runs out.
Yeah,
Texas has missed a ton of gimmies at the rim.
That was a nut. They ran the same inbounds play that they did at the end of the half, but opposite, and just missed a layup.
Yeah, and I wonder, just a thought process. I wonder if Prince at 6 foot, whatever she is causing some people to second guess what's going on the interior, if that makes sense. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of right here. Harmon called on a foul. All right, we got some other questions coming. Let's keep it going, guys, if you don't mind. Let's go with this one. Freelance Society, what about a Stanford tight end in the portal?
That's the one position Andrew Luck won't let those guys go in the portal. No. You're staying.
Yeah, I definitely think that would be a good one if they could do it. But we'll see what happens if other guys go in the portal from Stanford. Not a team that gets a ton of.
Wow.
Ollicker on the move.
Wow.
And the foul, is that on Prince as well? I think that is. If so, that's 4 on her.
That was a steal and a 3/4 court drive
by the biggest woman on the Texas team. Literally picked off the pass. Yeah, that's on Prince. I think that's 4 for her.
TCU's been – this has been the worst half-court inbounding team I've seen since Tyrese Hunter against Tennessee in the tournament last year. I think TCU has 5 turnovers on half-court inbounds in this game. 4 for sure. And the crazy thing about it is they're doing – Lith is the inbounds or the point guard, and they cannot get open. They have not schemed it up. It's like they haven't been hit in the face like this before from a ball pressure standpoint.
I think Harmon's done a great job on Lith today. Now, man, see, tell you what, they are calling everything now. They're calling everything. We'll see how that goes. All right, let's go and talk about this one. Brian Berg says, Bobby, Jeff, he has a hobby question, a baseball or football card collection hobby question. Does Rod Babers have a card out there in a Texas uniform?
Not a licensed one that I'm aware of, but I think some of the grading companies, like, how they used to put like football cards in the football programs. Some of them will grade those. As a matter of fact, I got a Priest Holmes that I'm going to send off here pretty soon. You can maybe get one of those graded, and that would count because I think Rod's got a couple in there. But as far as like a licensed one, like by Upper Deck or Panini, no, none that I'm aware of.
Would it shock y'all if Rod, Sims, and Shanahan made their own cards in college, though, and kind of
they handed them out at the sorority houses, I'm sure. All right, Jerry, are you concerned? This from Patrick Smith. Are you concerned about James Simons at the running back not being able to be the guy because handle the physicality of the SEC since he had a dislocated shoulder in high school?
No, one injury doesn't do that for me. I mean, it could be how you fall. I mean, you just never know on that. No, that doesn't. One injury doesn't do anything for me as far as that goes. I think the biggest thing for any young running back, though, is everybody talks about the strength, and he's about 205. He wants to play at about 208 this year right now. But I saw him Saturday. he's got some strength to his frame. His legs, I think, will get stronger over time, but his upper body's got a lot of strength. I'm not worried about that. The biggest thing for me with running backs is the holes pinch quicker. How quickly do you read the linebackers? Do you see the backside cut? Right. And then on contact, do you keep your eyes up? How quickly do your eyes get back up after contact? Those are the big things for me. I'm not worried about the physicality for him. I don't think the physicality had anything to do with, Jonathan Brooks' injuries. It's bad luck. They're very similarly built, almost the same frame exactly.
All right, this one from Aloha Traveler. Either Sark is trying to win a title this year or he's not. Texas absolutely needs at least one portal wide receiver, tight end. I would add RB to that as well. The Texas offense needs more talent to help Arch. Look, we agree on wide receiver, tight end. After seeing Christian Clark and knowing that Cedric Baxter is likely coming back, I don't know. I don't know that Texas goes big. And look, there's limited NIL. I mean, apparently they want David Bailey out of Stanford if they can get him for the right price. So I think they've got other plans right now in that regard. I don't see running back unless there are, and this is possible too, there could be some attrition during spring ball, and Texas might then make another decision there and go differently, a different direction at that point. Jerry, this one from Buzz or from Nick. Jerry, you think Buzz Williams leaves A&M?
He wants to, but the problem is, what's the jobs? If he can't get Maryland, then he's got an issue if he wants to leave. Then where are you going to go? That becomes the issue for him is, what jobs out there that he would leave for. And, man, if he can't get Maryland, it's tough to see it right now for me. Now, could there be a little more movement, something unexpected? Maybe, but it doesn't look like it right now. So that's his issue. He wants out. There's no doubt about it. But where are you going to go? If you can't get Maryland out, it's hard to see it.
I think it's going to be difficult. Hey, I want to bring something up that we have not talked about, and I think that needs to be talked about. Kirk Bowles put out a tweet today that Steve Sarkisian was not at practice today. That is, as Sedona Prince fouls out here, that should take the eliminator out of the middle for TCU. We'll see what they do now.
That was a huge shot right there. Huge.
Yeah, puts them back up. Texas back up 12 with 6:20 to go in the game. But Jerry, Sark and Jerry and Jeff, Sark was not at practice today. A lot of people had thoughts about that and what that might mean. But the reality of it is that we've been told that there's nothing of concern there for Sark himself. We'll fill y'all in more whenever more news is available there. We'll let the university handle that as we do it. But I wanted to mention that because I thought it was important to discuss. Jerry or Jeff from King Kunta, one of our better posters long term, is what do y'all think of Jonah Williams? Could he be an emergency wide receiver if need be?
He won't be, but there's some people that worked with him in high school, and I can actually see why they said it. They thought he could be better at wide receiver, and they compared him to Keenan Allen. But I don't think that is the plan, and I don't think he'll be used in that manner. I think he's going to be Preston's going to be really good, by the way, guys. But I think he's going to be a safety all the way. Safety, punt returner, kick returner for Texas. But
Jerry,
if he flipped it and wanted to play wide receiver, he'd be hellacious at it.
Jerry's got me intrigued about the Jonah Williams punt returner idea.
I saw it in high school, and I really liked it because he's fearless. He tracks a ball, his baseball stuff. He tracks a ball. He has great timing. He plays it over his shoulder. But he's not going to be the jitterbug, obviously. But if he breaks tackle one, breaks the arm tackle, and starts to get a full head of steam because he can move with the football. He does see the field well. He does set up blocks well. He can be interesting as a punt returner in college.
And speaking of Jonah, the Max Ballou injury, that's kind of opening the door a little bit more than it otherwise was for him to get some actual, maybe meaningful time with the baseball team. He had a pinch hit walk and a stolen base in the second game of the Missouri the doubleheader against Missouri on Saturday. But some of these midweek games, if Will Gasparino needs a rest or whatever, there's a chance to get Jonas some serious action.
That makes sense, and hopefully he does see some action. I would say this: Jerry's talking about return game. He's also got a well put together lower body, so he might be able to get some people to slough off of his legs as they fly by and be strong enough to handle that a little bit differently than some other guys that get clipped by an arm when they're returning kicks. All right, this one from T. He's proud. He says, "Did y'all go live to announce that I hit sophomore on OTF?" If you don't know that, that means he's been enough for us to actually for his level on the message boards on Texas football to go up. T, thank you for subscribing. We hope everybody is able to do that. This is exciting right now. I got to be honest. I've never done a live watch with us where I'm the host, and I'm probably horrible at it. But Texas right now up by 14. They're going to break in the fourth quarter. Roughly 5 minutes to go, I believe, in the game, guys, if I'm not mistaken. So this Texas team going at it against TCU.
I wanted we had a question earlier I wanted to hit during this timeout. Somebody asked if Cade Phillips has passed up Kobe Black on the depth chart. There's a lot of mixing and matching in spring. I would say it's early to go there. These guys are real. The freshman DBs are really good. Is Cade Phillips looking good? Yes. Are they going to mix and match, Bobby? Is this competition just going to weave in and out of spring, setting up to August? I would say yes.
Here we go. King Kunta. The Denver Broncos signed Sam Ehlinger. Sean Payton likes him some Longhorns.
Yeah, he does.
That's all I'll say about that. Sam, hope that he's able to make that team coming over from Indianapolis as a backup there. Look, what do y'all think about Sam Ehlinger? Is that his gig? Is he going to make like $50 million being a quarterback? I hope so too. I mean, I wouldn't wish it for as hard as many licks as he took as a Longhorn, barreling on that on third and fourth and short for Tom Herman. I hope he has a nice long career in the NFL as a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, other things going on tonight that I want to mention. We're talking about mostly about this basketball game, but Jerry, the visitors for the basketball team that you talked about, say that again for folks that are just now joining us, if you don't mind.
Yeah, well, Dalen Swain, the 6'8" forward that is in the portal from Xavier, who Sean Miller recruited to Xavier. He visited Ohio State, now he's at Texas. He's expected to decide between those two. Now, it doesn't mean those are the only two that have had contact with his agent, or the process might not keep going, but those are the two schools. So we'll see what happens there. Then Ryan Conwell, the other Xavier transfer, the 6'3" guard, who I think is a tremendous player, great shooter, really good college guard, great body type. He's visited Indiana. He's at Texas tomorrow and Wednesday. And so we'll see what happens there. I mean, look, the portal's going to be interesting. Guys got decisions to make. I know on the chat, they're like, oh, it doesn't matter, pay Conwell, whatever. I don't necessarily agree with that. Let's say somebody did something stupid and said $3.5 million for a one-year player who's a really good player. Would you rather have two guards who are really good players that are two-year players for the same price? I probably would, because I'm not a one-year build guy. I'm a 2- and 3-year build guy. So with the way this portal is going right now, there's going to be some tough decisions that have to be made. I mean, if somebody just keeps coming over the top, and it gets to be where it doesn't make sense, and I'm not saying it is going to happen, but what if it does happen? Because it has happened for other teams in the portal. You got to build your roster. It can't be one player. It's got to be a roster. And a first-year coach needs to build his roster for more than 1 year. He's got to build it for multiple years. I mean, if you look at Florida, if you just look at Florida and you look at Auburn, these teams weren't built for 1 year. These were built over time. And Florida, Todd Gold didn't make the NCAA tournament his first year. He got Walter Clayton off a 2-year player from Iona. He got the guard from Belmont. Richard's been there 3 years after his freshman year at Belmont. These weren't just 1 year guys. So that's the tough thing that you have to kind of deal with college rosters is, do you overpay for a 1 year guy when you could get two really good players that you'll have for 2 years for the same price?
Jerry, you want another good example of how you build a 2 year roster with the transfer portal? Go back to Chris Beard's first year at Texas. Timmy Allen, Marcus Carr, Dylan DeSue, Christian Bishop, all those guys. And granted, some of that was COVID years, but regardless, Chris Beard knew he could have potentially got those guys for 2 years, and he did. That's how you had a team that was Final Four caliber. Hey, had a pretty good year one. Had Purdue with a chance to win in the last 90 seconds. Right. And then, we're Final Four caliber the next year.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. Question from Beskibrek that I think is pretty good. What is Texas football ranked come week 1 versus Ohio State in Columbus?
3
behind Georgia and Ohio State, you think?
Probably, maybe 2. I mean, they should just rank Ohio State, Texas 1, 2, just for the matchup. Go for it.
Jerry, they might, honestly. The AP might.
Yeah. I can see that. I don't have any problem with that. Look, Texas having to do it right now without Rory Harmon in this game, guys. And I don't know. They've only got, there's 3.5 left. Texas up by 10, but
what they've done, what Texas has done is they've kept this, what I was talking about at the end of the third quarter. Getting that lead up to 9 was big because that's going to be, they didn't call foul. A good defense by Shea. But that was a foul on the rebound. But what they've done is they've kept it out of reach for you to go on a heater and hit 3 threes in a row, right? And Texas has kept this thing at 9, 10, 12. So they're keeping keeping that pressure on TCU where they can't go on a little hot streak heater and hit like 3 threes and 4 trips down and change the game totally. So great job by Texas maintaining this lead here on TCU. Because TCU's 4-19 from the 3 in this game. And coming in, they needed to hit about 9 in this game. They needed to hit 9 threes in this game, 8 or 9.
That rankings question we just got, guys, is interesting because now I'm thinking about it. Like, how many teams, talking about football, how many teams would you rank ahead of Texas right now? I can't think of too many. I mean,
I don't think I would rank Georgia ahead of Texas, guys. Georgia lost a ton of really good players. I mean, they lost game changers on defense. They lost Jalen Walker, Michael Williams, at all levels, Bobby, Malachi Starks, Warren Brinson and Stackhouse's experienced interior bodies against the run. They lost 4 starting offensive linemen. Texas, Ohio State, and Georgia all lost 4 starting offensive linemen. Ohio State might have lost 5 from the first game of the season. So Georgia lost a lot off their team. I mean, and I think Nate Frazier is going to be better in ETN, but they still lost a third-year running back, and now here we are at 6. But I don't know. I would have a hard time. James Richards, I don't know if one of our resident Georgia fans in here, I don't know where he would rank Georgia. I'd probably rank Texas ahead of Georgia to start the season. The question is Penn State just going to be ranked too low and not get enough love for what they have coming back?
Penn State's one that I would rank ahead of Texas right now just because you have a returning veteran quarterback. Granted, it's a team coached by James Franklin, but you've got a veteran returning quarterback. And other than that, I'd give Ohio State the respect as the defending national champs. But shoot, other than that, yeah, I mean, I can't see Texas being ranked. I guess to go back to the Columbus question, I can't see Texas being ranked lower than 5th or 6th going into that game.
They'll be ranked in the top 5. Texas will be.
I think so too, Bob.
The biggest question around Texas for most people is going to be offensively, and I think that's a huge bucket from Matty Booker. That pushes it back to 8 with under 2.
Yeah, and now let's see if I was smart by TCU, even though she got it blocked. And it's off her. No, they didn't just take a quick 3 right there. That I was wondering if they were just going to pull a quick 3. If they'd missed it, that would have been curtains. But
Jerry, I can't remember the last player, men or women, period, that I saw that's as good in the short corner shooting buckets as Matty Booker is.
Somebody else 435 at Texas.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
Kevin Durant.
yeah.
I mean, that she's so and just understand. I'm saying this from a technique standpoint, not a player standpoint. But she's so similar because her footwork in the mid-range game is tremendous, and her release. She's playing 6'5".
Yeah.
She's playing 3 or 4 inches taller with her release point. She is very difficult in the mid-range and Kevin Durant, he is 6'11", but when he releases the ball so high that he is almost like playing 7'6", 7'7". And she has got that in the women's side because of her release. She's playing 4 inches taller than her listed height.
Yeah.
All right. This one from Seth Alcozer, guys. Jerry, did Schaefer's success push CDC's hand for a men's hire? I'm going to put this out there. Did the Moody Center push CDC's hand for a men's basketball hire? Because I'll tell you what, there were not the seats were. There were a lot of empty seats for Texas men's basketball this year, guys. I think it's as much that as the success on the women's side. Would y'all agree with that?
Can I be as honest as possible?
Yes.
Just not a good coach, man. Can't coach offensive basketball. I don't know what to say. I mean, he took 3 games he took 3 timeouts at the end of the Xavier game to the unemployment line. Didn't call a timeout the last 3 minutes of the game while Xavier was making a run. There were just too many instances of just bad basketball offensive coaching. I mean, what they did schematically is not dissimilar in some ways to what some other people run. Now, there's different elements to it, and there's different reactions to what people do defensively to you. But it's just, I mean, you got blown out at home multiple times. This is a very, in the SEC, you got to be able to put points on the board, and you can't just out talent people in this league. You have to have really good players, and you have to be able to coach offensive basketball at a really high level. And that's just not who RT is.
To your point, Bobby, I was there for down the stretch. I went to the Kentucky game, Georgia and OU, and for those last 2, it was just a blasé atmosphere because to Jerry's point, those 2 games, the Oklahoma game, you weren't in it until the end. Of the Georgia game, you were never in it. And it was I've always felt like Texas men's basketball fans, it's a reactionary crowd. They're not going to be loud just because it's a Texas basketball game and let's all get fired up. Like, you got to show them something. And the bad basketball never got the crowd into it in those other 2 games. Kentucky, they were, but not the Georgia game or the OU game.
Brent Rasco, good question here. I realize it's a UT show, but this Houston but we have Houston ties to the Cougs have to play a perfect game to beat Duke. Well, it's a game of styles, and Houston's got to keep it in the 60s or low 70s. If the game gets up into the 80s, I'm not sure that's good for Houston. This is where matchups come into play, and this is a very important game for Sampson. You want to be aggressive offensively, but you also want to play it at your pace and at your tempo. If Duke plays the game at their pace and their tempo, then that takes away Houston's unbelievable half-court defense.
Wow, this is a big call, big reversal. Texas gets the ball, guys, up 8 with 1:50 to go. They got the ball back. So they went to a review, and Texas got the ball. I want to stay with women's basketball for a second. Leo, since we're watching the end of this Elite 8 game, Longhorns right now up by 8 with 1:35 to go. We'll see how this goes. They're going to try to get it into Maddie Booker, I'm sure, if they can, but we'll see if that works. Well, there goes Rory Harmon. Texas up by 10 with 1:30 left, guys. A little less than 1:30. Leo asked this question: why has Texas women's basketball been more successful than men's basketball historically? I'm going to say this. I think it's because Texas women's sports put money, Texas athletic directors put money into sports when a lot of times when other people did not put much money into women's sports. Texas has been a trendsetter and leader nationwide in women's athletics for 30 or 40 years. It's not something new.
Wow,
they care about women's basketball.
Not
50
fouling.
years.
He's not fouling. He's waving the white flag here. That's incredible.
I like it.
It's incredible. I mean, you got to condense the game. You're a team that shoots a lot of threes. You can't just let them dribble out the clock. You got to foul. Wow, I'm surprised by he did that. But by the way,
what do y'all agree with me on this? Why women's sports? I mean, y'all aren't as old as me.
Well, I think this
guys might agree with me. I think.
I think this though. Look, Jody Conrad. They had a Hall of Fame coach for how many years?
Yeah,
and they had stability for many years on the national scene. And Texas has had a decade of that with Rick Barnes.
Yep.
Really, when you think about it. And we'll see what Sean Miller does if he's here a decade. I have a feeling he might do some quality things at Texas. And doesn't mean overnight, but I think he's going to do quality things at Texas. But I think they were on the national scene. They had a Hall of Fame coach. They had one of the top programs in women's college basketball for an extended period of time. So I think that was a big part of it, honestly. It's kind of like, you have that hire, which is one of those great hires. And if they sustain success for a long period of time, then you're kind of in the history books and you become one of the top programs in your sport.
Yep.
Hey, congrats to Vic, man. I mean, look, these are tough Elite Eight losses. Those are some tough Elite Eight losses.
Good for the Longhorns.
They're going to win our show. Hey, if anybody from Capitol Grill's listening, save 2 spots at the bar for when Vic and his wife get home. They'll go to Capitol Grill after big wins.
They're going to win it. It's less than a second remaining. Texas up by 11. They'll inbound, and Vic Schaefer is going to the Elite or the Final Four. He's bowing in prayer right now. He's happy.
Hey,
that's his version of happy.
You think these jobs aren't stressful? I mean, look, the guy's been close at Texas to get into a Final Four, and those losses sit with you in the whole off season. We've had him on the show before. He wears it on his sleeve. This is a huge win for him. Yes, he's been to 2 Final Fours and a national championship game appearance at Mississippi State. But when you take this a new job and you kind of hit that Elite Eight, and that button doesn't get you to the Final Four, that last door doesn't open, those are tough off seasons when it happens repeatedly. This is a huge win for Vic in this program.
Yep. They'll play South Carolina next in the
fourth time this year. Fourth time.
Yep. So we'll see if Texas is ready to take on the Gamecocks this coming weekend. Big time for Vic Schaefer and his ladies. Guys, before we let everyone go here, I just want to say this. I mean, anytime you make it this far in a tournament, in a sport as competitive as this, says a lot about the Texas women here. Congratulations to them and everything that they've done. Jerry, the team, Jerry and Jeff, the team is off tomorrow. Not off completely, but they do not have practice tomorrow. They get back going on Wednesday. And we heard Jordan Washington went off today with an injury. He's been dinged up. We mentioned Ryan Wingo. I'm hearing that there could be somebody else that's injured as well. I can't release that name yet, but it's not a knee. I'll say that. Anything that I think is going to be, season threatening. But all in all, anything we need to be watching for. It seems like they're bringing in guys midweek for unofficial visits, which is kind of interesting, like Akpala, the young man from North Carolina, Lewis, as well as the guy from Kingwood today. That kind of stuff, as well as David Bailey from Stanford, I guess, for Texas football.
Yeah, I just think it's when those kids are bouncing around, right? I'm not sure it's like a plan as much as the kids are kind of trying to get out as many spots as they can during the spring. Like, when do you have spring break? Are you out making your trips if you have a later spring break or an earlier spring break? So I think Texas is just trying to get as many kids on campus on the kids' schedules as possible around their 2 visit weekends. And last weekend there's Coach Chris Del Conte, Coach Del Conte. There at the is he going to put the Gatorade on Vic himself or what? I mean,
let's see what happens here. Oh boy,
that'd be funny if Chris got.
Oh, Vic. Oh, they didn't even use. Oh, it's just confetti. Good for him.
Yeah,
that would have been a long plane ride home with sticky Gatorade. All right, guys, that's going to do it for tonight's Talking Ball abbreviated version. I want to say thank you one last time to our sponsor. That's Dr. Brett Robin of Austin Orthopedic Institute. He's been sponsoring On Texas Football now for about 3 months. We appreciate him very much. Of course, he's a former Longhorn running back who he wants to know, or he knows how he can keep people in the game. He knows what it takes, and he's here for athletes of all ages. He specializes in musculoskeletal health. He treats joint pain and injuries with a conservative approach first, but also offers advanced surgical options, including arthroscopic procedures, fracture management, and total joint replacements. With convenient offices in Austin, Georgetown, and Killeen, Dr. Robin is accepting new patients now. If you're looking for a top-notch orthopedic, give Dr. Robin a call, 512-856-1000. Get back to your active lifestyle and doing what you love. Again, former Longhorn, Dr. Brett Robin, orthopedic specialist. 512-856-1000. For Jerry Hamilton, Jeff Howe, as well as our producer behind the scenes, Matt Hutchinson, I'm Bobby Burton. Longhorns going to the Final Four. Hook 'em.
Yes, sir.